Would you look at that? The SN9 and the SN10 on their launch pads next to each other, looking beautiful down in the Texas area. Welcome back, guys. If you missed this weekend's episode, we talked a little bit about the SN10, how it recently came out of the Bay Area, and it's on its launch pad. I don't think it's going to launch just yet. A lot of people are speculating that. But in today's episode, we're going to it's a brief episode, I won't lie. We're going to take a look at what's going on in Texas. The news is very limited regarding what's going on with the FAA. I know that was a big concern over the weekend. A lot of, I wouldn't say conspiracies, a lot of the arguments do hold some truth and value in them, I agree. But today we're going to take just a slight look at what's going on. The news is limited. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If you wanted a ton of information, there's not a ton of information. I will just tell you that right now. We're very limited. But let's get into what we do know. So the SN9, the SN10, they're both out there next to each other. Now the SN9 was scheduled to launch today. And some people are speculating the SN10 was going to launch today as well. It's not going to launch. They're not going to launch at the same time. Don't get your hopes up for that. The SN10 has not even done a static fire. They're going to do the SN9 before they do the SN10. However, we could see a very close time frame in terms of the SN10 launching, depending on how the SN9 goes. The SN9, however, it's not launching today, but there is news speculating that it could launch tomorrow. So the road closure that was for today, for Monday, February 1st, is no longer in effect. Now the road closures, as you guys know, they do these types of things and they evacuate the residents of that area. So if anything goes wrong with these tests, any explosions, things like that, nobody will be harmed in the process. However, Space TFRs had tweeted about the TFR for tomorrow, Tuesday, February 2nd. Elon Musk specifically liked this tweet. You know how Elon Musk gets? He's super cryptic about this stuff. So when he likes something, everybody jumps on the bandwagon about why he would. So people are speculating that they have the clearance for tomorrow. Now, more news I have about you guys when it comes to the clearances that I was looking into more because, as you know, all of the flights they were going to do, the TFRs were in place. But then all of a sudden it said that they weren't in place and people were asking why. Why did they suddenly pull it? So apparently these TFRs, when it comes to these spaceflight things, it's not so much a guarantee that they can do this. It's more or less a warning saying that there could be something going on. It's very hokey pokey with the FAA right now. In my previous video, a lot of people were speculating that the FAA and other entities, Jeff Bezos, Joe Biden, his administration, whatever, were trying to suppress SpaceX. If that's your opinion, if that's your idea, I'm not going to argue with it. I'm not going to say it's wrong. What I do know and what others know is that the FAA is definitely flawed. They've even admitted themselves that the procedures and the process they have in place in order to give clearances for spaceflight in general, it's not up to date. You look at 5 years ago where we were in terms of space travel, how often did you see any rocket go? It was in the news anytime SpaceX did anything. It was in mainstream news anytime SpaceX had done a launch for whatever reason. They're doing a launch once a week right now. That's basically their schedule. They're doing one, they've scheduled at the beginning of the year like 48 launches. So they're doing one every roughly 10 days. And that's something I'm going to get into a little bit at the end of this episode. If you want to be informed about that as well, stick to that. But SpaceX, they're not the company that they used to be where they would do a test here and there and then they'd get that one-off contract from NASA to put a satellite into orbit. They're doing this every week. They have their own business ventures they're doing. They have customers, they have the government, NASA, the Space Force, whatever you want to call it. They're involved now. The FAA's processes are not in place to handle this. So although you could be right, there could be some pokery, whatever you want to call it, some back-end stuff going on with them, that doesn't deny the fact that their process is old. It's not ready for this. They need to update it. And I think with SpaceX putting the SN10 out there and putting it right next to the SN9 the day that they were denied this, it shows, hey, you guys need to hurry up. You need to fix your process. We are more advanced than what you can handle. You need to ramp up what you can do in terms of getting us approvals, making sure things are safe. Some people are saying that, and I kind of agree with this myself a little bit, that with SpaceX buying those oil rigs out in the ocean, this was going to get around the FAA. It doesn't get around the FAA. It gets around the fact that there's no locals whose houses could be blown up. It gets around that. But the airspace itself, that it doesn't deny that. So I don't want people to get their hopes up saying that once the oil rigs are out there, the FAA no longer exists. Don't think that. That's not the truth. And another thing that I definitely did not make myself clear enough on my last episode when I said I don't want to get politics involved, I was referring to in the episode before that, not politics and administration. I definitely worded it wrong. I had people in my comments trying to explain how the FAA denying SpaceX a flight had to somehow do with these satanic rituals and like lizard people and the fact like Mars never existed and the government's trying to hide it. It's just these absurd, these crazy things. Like if you're gonna talk like, oh, maybe it's the FAA's being paid off, or maybe it's Blue Origin or something, like trying to suppress it. Hey, it's a valid argument. That could definitely be the case. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but it makes for a good argument and good topic of discussion. If you're telling me that people from the center of the Earth that are lizards are crawling out and trying to deny the fact that Mars exists, like this, don't, like, come on, let's be real. So yeah, if you want to talk about like realistic things in the comments, by all means, I love that stuff. Don't you know what I'm saying. I think I made myself a little more clear in this time. But with that being said, tomorrow, February 2nd, I think SpaceX has a much larger chance of doing the SN9 top test and launch. The weather's looking pretty favorable. It's going to be sunny. Doesn't look like any clouds. Weather, in terms of the wind, I think it's right around like 15 miles an hour is going to be the average for the day. That shouldn't be anything that will throw SpaceX off or deter them. I know if it's like 30, 40 miles an hour, that can definitely be a cause of concern. But weather-wise, looks fine. And like I said before, the FAA, they still haven't released any actual info as to why they denied SpaceX. I've read that the investigation the FAA is doing has to do with the explosion of the SN8 and that the SN8's license it had, it didn't meet certain criteria, or they stepped beyond, SpaceX stepped beyond what they were allowed to do, yada yada. Again, the FAA has not given any official report as to what they did wrong, though. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. You think the SN9 will go tomorrow? Again, this has been postponed for a long time. I'm sorry, you guys. I feel like, I don't want to say I've been hyping it up for you guys and things like that, but I can only give you as much information as what's out there, and the information looks good day by day. Like, hey, we should see it tomorrow, and then something happens. Oh, well, okay, we'll get over that. We'll see it tomorrow, and then the FAA comes out of nowhere. I'm just trying to give you guys up to date with what I know, specifically is on Twitter, because that's unfortunately like the best info we really have in terms of the locals in the area. They give us the best info, so I'm just trying to give you guys that. Now, if that's all you guys want to know regarding the SN9, the Starship hop test, things like that, that's all I have for you guys in this episode. Be sure to click the like button on your way out. And if you want more content like this, subscribe to the channel. I just broke 1,000. I just want to say thank you to all my loyal subscribers who have subscribed to the channel. It's a big milestone for me, and I appreciate all the support. Thank you, guys. Oh, and one more thing. A lot of people have been saying I've been like tapping on my microphone or my desk or something like that. And to be honest with you guys, I am not touching my desk or my microphone. It's all away from me. If you guys hear any sounds like that, please, the best thing you can actually do for me, besides even liking or subscribing, drop in the comments a timestamp of when you can hear any sort of thumping or thuds or anything like that. I need to understand if it's me or if it might be my microphone itself. My microphone is old, so it could be that. And if it is the mic, I will buy a new one. But yeah, when I play back my episodes, I don't hear any sort of thuds or thumping. So again, if you guys hear anything like that, timestamp it in the comments. That's the best thing you can do for me. But let's get into more SpaceX news. So today, February 1st, was going to be a launch for the Falcon 9 in the Cape Canaveral area for SpaceX's Starlink program. They were going to put 60 more satellites into orbit, and that's been postponed. So they did the static fire today, and it was successful. This is coming from their own Twitter page, their own Twitter feed. However, I think it's inclement weather. They cannot do the launch today. They're postponing it. They said till Tuesday, and then I recently updated it, and now it's actually Wednesday. They reported that Wednesday they're going to do the launch for the Falcon 9. If you're in the area or if you want to watch their live streams, I highly recommend it. We'll most likely see them land the Falcon 9 booster on the drone out in the ocean. Always exciting stuff. And as I've mentioned before, the Starlink program, getting satellites into orbit, getting us high-speed internet from no matter where you are on the planet. If you haven't looked into it, it's actually really cool, the Starlink Wi-Fi systems they have. I've seen multiple videos now, check it on YouTube, of people bringing their Starlink little satellite setups out in like the woods and stuff like that, into the mountains, and they're getting crazy download speeds. I mean, better than I get in like a suburban area. It's insane. And SpaceX is only just beginning to put these satellites into orbit, so I can't even imagine once they get to the full caliber of where they want to be in a few years, no matter where you go on the planet, you can have high-speed internet. like higher speed, faster download speeds than if you're in a suburban area or in a city. You could do that out in the desert with these satellites. So it's just, in my opinion, it's something cool to keep up on, something cool to see. I know a lot of people are very excited to get the satellite and the internet service in their area. It's slowly coming to fruition. A lot of it has to do with governments allowing it. Like I know in Russia, for example, they are not allowing Starlink. If you're in the Russian area, I'm sorry, but don't expect that anytime soon. But that is all I have for you guys in this episode. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want more of this content. Also, click the like button on your way out. It helps a guy out. I love it. And let me know in the comments any questions or comments, concerns. I love answering with you guys. I try to keep up with as many comments as I can. My last episode, I got bombarded, so I could not keep up with everything, and a lot of discussion, some arguments in there. Again, I enjoy it. I don't tell you not to do it. I encourage it. Like I said, no lizard people though, guys. Come on. Can we keep the lizard people out of this new world? Can we keep that out of it? All right. Promise to do that? All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow in the next episode, and hopefully I will be reporting on the SN9's hop test. Maybe the SN10. We'll see. Have a good one, guys.